Hey everyone, it's Elis, and this is gonna be my ultrasound rundown, I guess. For those of you that are my friends in Facebook, I told you guys that I had my ultrasound today to check how Chloe did on my follicles, like how big they got and stuff, like ready for the IUI. So we left home like around 7, and we had our appointment at 8, just because traffic gets pretty crazy here, and we have like a 20-minute drive to get to where we're going, and that's without traffic. So we left here at 7. We got there like around 7:35, 7:40, something around there. And then the front desk lady, she gave me a paper and she said, okay, do you know about your payment today? And I was like, yeah. She said, okay, then it's gonna be $302. So we knew about it. I mean, our insurance, like I told you guys before, I think it only covers the diagnostic part of the infertility, so it doesn't cover any tests. I think it covers like blood tests, but not like ultrasounds and all that kind of stuff. So we paid $302 up front, which is not that bad, and that was for just the ultrasound. So once that happened, she gave me a paper of like my information, I guess I could say, like, just to check if everything was like correct. So everything was, and I gave it back to her, and she told me she was gonna give me a receipt once I came out of the ultrasound part. So when she when I went, like, they called me in, and okay, so I have to explain this to you guys first before I continue. The place where we go, I hate when people are nosy, but I don't care. The place where we go, it's one suite, and they have like half of it is for the OB and half of it is for the RE, and if you're gonna do some sort of HSG test or anything like that, so that half and half. So the first time I went to my RE, I went in and I told them, I had an appointment with my RE, and they sent me from that waiting area, like the main waiting area, they sent me to a waiting area, like an RE waiting area, which is inside the offices or whatever. So they have their own little small waiting area for the RE patients, and that's where we sat now. And my main doctor did the ultrasound that day. This time when I came, they called me from the OB side, and it was a ultrasound tech, the one that did the ultrasound. It was an ultrasound tech. So we went here, and she said, have you done this before? Like, have you been through this before? And I said, yeah, the first time I came. So she said, okay, so you know what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. And I said, yeah. So I went into this little ultrasound room, and they said, get undressed from the waist down and cover yourself with this little thingamajigger, like kind of papery, I don't know, it was like a kind of papery something. So my husband was there with me, and like in 2 seconds she was back in, and of course she knocked first, and then she was back in, and then she said she was gonna she turned on a bunch of TVs, and then we had one in front of like how the bed, I should have taken a picture, there's the TV in front, which also shows you what they're doing to you. You can see it out front, and then she has her own like little monitor right here. So I was looking at it, and I was like, I don't understand crap about ovaries and stuff like that. So I asked her, I said, are you gonna tell me how big my follicles are, or what's gonna happen? She said, no, I can't tell you, I'm only here to take pictures. So I was like, okay, that works for me. So I saw her when she took a picture, and I guess 3 freaking thingies pop out, and I don't know, I guess it was my ovary, because she wrote right ovary, and then she turned to my left side. Now when that little ultrasound stick was on my right side, it didn't hurt, and she's like, let me know if I'm hurting you, because it's not supposed to hurt. So it didn't. However, when she turned onto my left side, that shit hurted. And she was like, let me know if I'm hurting you because it's not supposed to hurt. And I was like, it didn't actually hurt. It was just a lot of like freaking pressure. Like, I don't know, I just felt so bad. So I was like, no, because on my last ultrasound, my doctor had a really hard time finding my left ovary, so that's why I didn't say anything. And then she took one picture, which 3 came out. So I don't know how that works, but yeah. And she wrote left ovary, and then that was it. Like, I was freaking out of there, and I was like, what the hell? I told my husband, I was like, man, 5 minutes, $300 for 5 minutes? Golly, that's a lot of freaking money. But anyways, that happened. Then my dumbass, I did not know I was supposed to get a progesterone test, like progesterone blood work. So I left. You know, just leave it to me to keep forgetting stuff like that. So I left. We came back home, and then my husband slept for a little bit. I got on my YouTube and did a bunch of crap, and the nurse calls me and she's like, hey, did you not do a blood work? And I was like, no, what was I supposed to? And she's like, yeah, we're supposed to do the progesterone blood work. I think it's called progesterone. Let me check. Estrogen. Not progesterone, estrogen. I guess they sound the same. So we were starving. We were really hungry, and it was time for us to go eat. We were gonna go eat, and my husband got really mad at me, and I was just like, you know what, first of all, I'm not doing this baby by myself, and over food you can actually wait. I know people get like really grumpy when they're hungry, and my husband's like one of them, that he just got really mad and didn't talk to me from like the whole way to the back to the clinic. So I was like, you know what, I don't freaking need this negativity around me, so I'm just gonna freaking ignore you. So I did. And then afterwards he said, I wasn't mad at you, I was mad at the lady. I was like, it wasn't her fault. What the... Anyways, so